Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm a makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I'm doing my next update on my Pan Those eyeshadows. This is my update for May, so I'm about to show you all the progress that I made on these eyeshadows in May. I have a very exciting update for you. But before we get into that, if you are new around here and you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing down below if you want to keep up to date on this project, all my other project pans, and any other beauty related content that I do post on this channel. And with that all being said, let's jump on in to the update. So exciting news, I have not one, not two, but 3 pans to show you today. So I hit my 3rd pan today actually doing this eye look. This eye look is a little bit, I don't know whether it really works, but I was on a mission to use as many of my project pan shadows as I could, so I threw it together. Before we do jump on into the update, I do want to just show you on the screen now my color story that I was working on in May. So that's the color story there. And now let's jump on into the update. So obviously, as per usual, there is a trouble shadow in here. This is my little problem child so far of the project. This is my melt shadow in the color Fixated. I am wearing this on my outer corner today. However, I've only used this one once since the last update, and that being this look today. So I am starting to see a little bit of a dip starting to show in the pan. So we are starting to see some signs of wear and dip. And I think you might actually be able to see the dip in the photo now, but it's a long way off being finished or being close to being panned. So far I've only used that one 8 times in total, and that one has been in the project since the start of the year. Then let's move on to my next shadow. I guess the next one that's been in here the longest, that is just an update. That's my Tati Beauty. This is the Textured Neutrals palette. In this one, I am working on the color Sequin Story, which is this one here. Now, over the past month, I used this an additional 5 times. So I am now sitting at 9 uses on this one. I am wearing this under my eyes today on my lower lash line. I don't love this shadow, and especially the fact that it does have that like chunkier glitter in there. I don't love that aspect, but I have been using this one a little bit. I've been pairing it with different bits and pieces, like a couple of the shadows out of here, mainly like these two. And then I have also been pairing it with my Steeler shadow, different bits and pieces in my collection. So I am getting some use out of it. I would definitely prefer to see progress on it a lot quicker just because I don't love the shadow, but I am going to get there eventually. I want to say that maybe hopefully by next month there might be a really noticeable dip in it. At the moment it's starting to show a dip, but it's just kind of showing the wear on the pan. So I'm hoping by next month there might be a noticeable dip. The month after that, I'm probably going to say there's going to be a really considerable dip, and then the month after that they'll probably be panned. So I want to say it's probably maybe going to take me another 3 months, especially if I'm only using it like 4 to 5 times each month. So I'm predicting that this one might be in for probably maybe another 2 to 3 updates. The next one is another palette, or the next one is a palette that came in last month, and that's my Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. Now I have only used this one once. So last month I rotated in the color Noble Woman, which is kind of this like shimmery burgundy type color, reddy burgundy color. So rotated that one in, and as I said, I've only used this one once. So I mean, there's a little bit of wear on the pan, but not really all that much. There's a little bit of a dip. There's a tiny-ish dip. But yeah, let me know in the photos whether you can see any difference between the first photo and the update photo. But yeah, I've only used it once. I think that I really want to give this one a try as maybe a nail polish topper and see how it goes with the current nail polish color that I have in my Team Project pan. I want to give that a try, see if it works. If it does work, then I could probably make some decent use on it quite rapidly, because when I use shadows as nail polish, I can get through them quite quickly. Those are the three that I need to update you on, and that means that the next three are the ones that I have hit pan on, which I'm so excited about. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So the first one is one that has been in since the start of the year. So this was an achievement and a half. I did think that I was probably going to be very close to hitting pan this month. If not, it was going to be the following month, but I did manage to hit pan on this one. This is my Fenty Beauty Snap Shadow Palette in the wine color story. And I was working on the color Pinot Please, which is the purple down the bottom here. And you can see that nice little bit of pan right in the center there. So proud of myself. And I did use this one a further 4 times this past month. So that took me to a total of 24 uses before I hit pan on that one. Oh man, I'm so happy to have that one out. That one was a tricky shadow to hit pan on. It was very densely packed and the shadow itself is not the best. My next one that I hit pan on, which is one that I hit pan on today, is my ColourPop. It's my Pleasure palette, and I was working on the color Do or Dough, which is the one up the top here in the center. You can see the pan right there. I made really good progress on this one over the past month because I did do my nail polish technique again. So I was using this one over the top of a nail polish, and when I do that technique, I tend to need to use a little bit more of shimmers. Like I tend to have to kind of dig into it a little bit. So that always does help. If I ever have a shimmer and I decide to use it as a nail polish, I can make a little bit more progress on it than I normally would. I used this one another 5 times this past month. I think 2 of those uses were for nail polish. So that's like applying it to all 10 fingers, and a total of 9 uses on this one to hit pan. I was actually quite surprised. I think the pans on the ColourPop shadows are a lot deeper than I expected, especially these little 9-pan eyeshadow palettes. So that's another one that I am rolling out, another one that I've hit pan on. And then the last one is actually one of the shadows that I rotated in last month. Comes from my Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. This was the shadow that I myself picked out. This was my hand-chosen palette. So for those of you that are new around here, I myself, for my project, my Pan Those Eyeshadows, I randomly roulette 5 palettes out of my collection from my spreadsheet, and then I myself go out and from my collection, I hand pick out a palette and I choose the shadow out of that palette that I want to hit pan on. So I chose the color Rose Gold in this palette last month, and as you can see, we have a really decent amount of pan on this one there. I find the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula is fairly easy for me to hit pan on, and I did decide, I think it was like when I did my eyeshadow palette collection video, I decided that I really wanted to try and at least have a pan in each of them. And I think now I have 2 more palettes now out of my Anastasia Beverly Hills collection that I don't have a pan on. So maybe I might rotate in another Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I'm tossing up between Anastasia palette to replace this or my Naked 2 to replace this one. So I will decide that in a second. So 2 palettes I need to rule out from my spreadsheet, and I also need to hand pick 1 out. So I think I'm going to decide my chosen shadow. I'll decide my chosen shadow based on the palettes that I get randomly generated. I have 144 options to choose from. So we need to randomize 2. So let's go. The first one is 123, and then we have number 30. Okay, so 123 is my Kaleidos Lunar Lavender palette. I believe that's what it's called. And then number 30 is my Sugar Pill Mini Fun Size palette. Okay, so those are very different palettes. We've done a battery change, so the light is a lot brighter than what it was before. So I have the two palettes here. So we've got our Sugar Pill Mini Fun Size palette and the Kaleidos Lunar Lavender palette. From the Sugar Pill palette, this is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. So let's randomly generate a shadow from this one. I kind of hope I get the purple because I feel like the purple would be a lot easier for me to use. So let's see how we go. And we have number 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, I think I can work with this one. I think this one won't be too bad for me to use. So it's kind of like the mustardy color in there. I don't know whether you can see that even. I don't totally love the formula on these. I find like all of mine have basically got hard pan. I like the color story. The colors are fun to play with, but they can be a little bit of work sometimes. Next we have my Lunar Lavender palette. I love this palette, so I'm kind of excited to get some use out of it. There are 6 shadows in this palette to choose from, so let's find out which one we're going to work on. We have number 5. So let's go, which way are we going to do this? Let's go left to right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess, I don't know. Let's just go with this one. So that's that one there. Beautiful shimmer. And that one I believe is called Wisteria. And then last but not least is my shadow that I am rotating in myself. I did decide to grab out another Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. So this time I've gone for the Soft Glam palette. I think I'll go for a matte. I was just thinking that maybe I'd go for a shimmer because I rotated out 2 shimmers and a matte. But I've now got the Melt Matte, the Sugar Pill Matte. No, maybe I could go for a shimmer. The Melt Matte, the Sugar Pill Matte, the Tati Matte, and then we have Colored Rain is a shimmer, Kaleidos is a shimmer. So I definitely could go for a shimmer in this one. But I think I want to go for a matte actually. I've decided I'm going to go for Sienna, which is this brown color here. I just think for me, let me swatch this with a clean finger. I just think for me, for like everyday work, I could probably get a lot of use out of this one. And like chuck it on the outer corner and like blend it out and use it as like a fairly regular staple. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to rotate in a matte just for something different, because normally I do pick shimmers for my chosen shade. So those are my 3 new palettes. So bringing in the Sugar Pill palette, the Mini Fun Size, the Kaleidos Lunar Lavender, and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam, which I've just put brown shadow all over. So those are the 3 coming in, and then we have the 3 that I still have. I will leave a picture on the screen now of the color story that I'm going to be working on in June. I don't know if I'm going to have any pans in anything in June, but I do believe that I am currently like 1 pan ahead of schedule. So if I don't have any in June, I can at least get some good groundwork on a few, and then hopefully in July we might have a few. Fingers crossed. So yes, I think I'm up to 13 pans in this project so far this year. My aim is to get to 24, so we're chugging along nicely. Let me know down in the comments box what you think of my new color story and how you would use the colors and pair them together. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you are new around here and you haven't already and you want to keep up to date on this project, then I hope you'd consider subscribing down below. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope that you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope that you are staying safe, healthy, and looking after yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.